I stand before you today a whole woman with a whole heart, but it was not always that way. In a time of deep despair, hopelessness, and thoughts of suicide, I wrote this poem. Most things can be broken only once, some can be mended. The heart is an exception to that rule. The difference is the heart can't be mended. It just goes on breaking into smaller and smaller pieces until nothing is left but some remnants of love. Having been a product of the free love 60s, I saw many of my friends have abortions. My feelings on the subject remained neutral, and so when I was asked as a new nurse graduate to assist a doctor with 3 second-trimester abortions, I didn't argue. I spent most of my time with one of the women in her 6th month who shared that she had found out her husband was having an affair and wanted him to pay. She was going to lie to him and say the news of the affair had caused a miscarriage. This payback baby was a perfectly formed little boy. At birth, he was roughly checked by the physician and then dropped in a bucket. And for what seemed like an eternity to me, I listened before there was finally silence. I went home sick and slept little that night. 2 marriages and 2 abortions later, I found myself experiencing a syndrome of symptoms that has come to be known as post-abortion stress. Destructive relationships, horrific nightmares, and an inability to be around babies without an overwhelming sense of guilt are just a few of the examples. Later, having children caused me to become increasingly depressed, and I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress syndrome due to my abortions. I found forgiveness and grace in a relationship with Jesus Christ, and through much counseling I recovered from my symptoms. If you could see my heart today, you would still see the mended cracks of its brokenness, not because the healing is incomplete, but because Jesus allows us to remember what he did for us so we can help others put their pieces back together. I did that by starting a pregnancy care center that offered post-abortion counseling and watched as hundreds found healing as I had. The remnants of love that I wrote about in my poem represented the remnants of my babies. Jesus showed me through a dream that my babies prayed for my salvation because without it, they would never meet me. They are in heaven waiting for me, and someday I will hold them. Those raw remnants have been transformed into a powerful passion to end the Holocaust of abortion. And each one of you who lets the world know that you will be silent no more has the same passion within them.